All right. All right. So tonight is our class for the heart chakra. So this is a wonderful, um, just good feeling class, and just want to take some time tonight to nurture ourselves as we move into our postures and as we move into the frame of mind that we're stepping into in our class. It's a beautiful one. It's the connecting, not only when we think outwardly, but when we're talking about connecting within the chakra system. So we have our first three lower chakras, and the heart chakra is the middle one that then connect us to the upper three chakras. So it's just this really beautiful connection place. It is often one that we close most often as well. So it'll be really nice to open through the heart center, through the shoulders, really creating a sense of spaciousness. The element for heart chakra is also air. So it's really creating this sense of um, just possibility, opening up for possibility, opening up for that spacious feeling. We often have our shoulders, hunched, whether it's out of protection or whether it's just, we're on our computers all day and it's just a matter of just positioning. So really allowing our shoulders to drop down and back, breathing through that heart center, creating that space and openness within our bodies, within the chest cavity, is just really important. Also, when it comes to our practice tonight, we'll be moving a little bit through, some, stronger postures that we'll be stepping into, but really it's allowing ourselves to build that inner awareness of what is going on for ourselves. I know we talk about this in lots of the classes, but when we are thinking of a sense of intimacy, we often think of looking at others for bringing in a sense of intimacy within our experience. But with this, I want it to be that we are looking within to create that sense of intimacy, to get to know ourselves, to just even understand what it is that we're feeling, and creating a sense of awareness, but also a sense of compassion as we move into our practice. So we'll have a little bit of a mix of the yin longer postures that we're holding here, and just to really create that awareness, to bring that breath into that space, to create a softening in the body if you notice there's a rigidity, or just whatever it is that you're needing. So just notice and allowing that languaging to come into your practice tonight, to kind of listen, to hear, and then also just to notice, the breath, how the movements are feeling, what kind of energy that you need to bring into it. We've talked about this before. Do you need a little bit more of an energetic practice to kind of brighten things up if you've been struggling with just feeling more lethargic, or is it something that you're go 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 all the time and you just really need to drop it down a notch? So just have that awareness within your own body as we get ready to move into our practice as well. So let's go ahead and find a easy seated position and allow ourselves to find our place on the mat, and rolling the shoulders back and down just a couple times. And if it feels comfortable, just go ahead and close the eyes. So again, just allowing a softening in the face and creating that movement in the shoulders. And you might notice what amount of tension that you do have in those shoulders right now. Let's slow down for a minute. Let's go ahead and inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And big exhale. You might notice there's tenderness. Let's do it one more time. Let's inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Let's do one last time. Beautiful. Let's just rest here for a moment. Let the body settle. So letting those shoulders just drop down and away from the ears. Maybe shake the head no for a moment. Just gaze, big gaze over the right shoulder and then the left. Releasing all that tension. And recognizing that when we're working with this heart center, though there's a lot of focus in the front aspect of the body, we're also opening. It moves all the way through the back here. So as we're loosening those muscles in the back, it also helps us create that sense of openness in the front body. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring the head back to neutral here for a moment. And taking the right hand, just bring it up to the sternum here. And we're just going to start tapping a little bit. Okay. So if anybody has done tapping before, sometimes it's really nice, especially if you're feeling anxious. A lot of times people will feel a lot of sensation in the chest when there is that sense of anxiety. So this is really powerful. But it's also interesting, and you can switch hands if you want to, whatever feels good. But it's interesting just to notice where the skin might feel sensitive. And not forgetting to breathe. So letting those rolling breaths like waves move through the body. Again, those eyes can close so the focus is internal. And then bring it back to the middle of the sternum and just do a couple, just little chest thumps here. You've got your thymus gland just below that, the sternum. And this is what helps us with our immune function. So just kind of waking it up. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and let that hand drop. Let's take a nice big cleansing breath in. Big inhale. Exhale out. Let the hands rest on top of the thighs here for a moment. I'm going to take 3 breaths, but I'd like you to go ahead and let the forefinger and the thumb come together, and the rest of the fingers just rest softly on the tops of the thighs. And again, just letting those breaths kind of roll through the body. So feeling the coolness of the air as you draw it in through the nose, letting the lungs fill and the belly soften and round. Nice gentle exhale, the ribs knitting back together and the warmth of the exhale. Just allowing tonight to be this precious time to get to know yourself again. We're often so busy. We're distracted. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and let's open and shut the hands. And maybe shake them out a little bit. You can let the eyes flutter open so we come back to the room. Okay. I'm going to come down off of my block just because it's a little bit high, but feel free to do whatever feels good right now. And so we'll come into this nice stretch. So go ahead and place the left hand on the right knee. That right hand can be on the outside of the hip just to support. So inhaling here, exhale, gaze to the back, fingertips drop down, inhaling, and then exhale, left hand to right knee. Let's go ahead and do 3 more breaths at your own pace. Last one. Okay. And then allowing that left hand to rest on the top of that right knee, and then go ahead and release the body over to the left-hand side. So creating this lengthening in that right side of the body. Okay. If you'd like, you can lift that right fingertips up to the sky and then exhale on over. You can rock the head, gaze to the sky, gaze to the earth. Releasing that tension once again. Beautiful. Go ahead and let the arm float down. Let the torso come back to neutral. And then just switching to the other side. Okay, so these nice gentle flowing movements here. So with the right hand on top here, the left hand can be to the outside of the left hip. So inhale, Exhale. Again, gaze can follow. 3 more, own pace. Just waking up that upper body. That beautiful cleansing breath. Just letting go of any stuck emotions or events that have occurred during the day, just letting things go. Okay, this last one, go ahead and let the hand rest onto that left knee. Release the torso over to the right, and then left fingertips up to the sky and reaching towards the right side of the wall. And then release the head. Gaze to the earth, gaze to the sky. Go ahead and bring the torso back to neutral, releasing that hand down, and the torso comes back to center. Take a big inhale, exhale, releasing hands in front. Go ahead and walk it down just a little bit here, releasing the head, tucking the chin towards the chest. The spine stays long. It's kind of opening in the lower body now a little bit, letting those hips release the low back. Exhale, go ahead and press through those fingertips. Come on up. Switch which leg was on top or in front. Okay. And then again, inhaling up. And then exhale, release forward. Again, you can tent the fingers here at first, tucking the chin towards the chest. Spine is long. Inhaling, really long, lengthening out through the crown of the head. Exhale, releasing down. Let's see where the body wants to go, letting gravity do the work. And just notice the body speaking to you. Which side felt a little bit more tight or tender? Letting at the exhale, the weight of the body release down a little bit more as an act of surrender, a softening. And then slowly as you exhale, press on up. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and release forward. Just pivot here a little bit on my mat. So just coming into your tabletop position, hands underneath. Actually, let's go ahead and tuck the toes here for a minute. Extend the hands out and tent those fingers. So really active fingers here. We're tenting the fingers so the palms are up off of the mat. And then from here, we're going to start dropping the hips towards the heels, almost like we're going in child's pose, but then letting the heart center drop, the forehead releasing down towards the earth, but the arms staying active, the fingers staying tented. Notice this is a different feeling and sensation than when we normally go into our child's pose. So noticing where there's sensation in the body, whether it's the arms or the heart center in the front of the body, maybe noticing what's going on in between the shoulder blades. Again, you can shake the head yes or no. If you notice there's some tension, you can kind of release there. Let's take a big cleansing breath. Big inhale. Big exhale out through the mouth. Let the heart sink one more time. Okay, on that next exhale, slowly walking it up. So bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders here, and then dropping the knees out towards the edge of the mat, and then toes in towards one another. Okay, grounding into that left palm, we're moving in to thread the needle, both with the knees nice and wide. So allowing a lot of upper body movement, but also allowing ourselves to get into our hips a little bit here. So grounding into that left palm, inhale. Fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, go ahead and float it down. Okay. Move with your breath here. So just gently floating the arm up and then through. And again, noticing what the body is asking for tonight. If there's a sense of exhaustion, just really slow it down. You can even maybe do half of what I'm doing. Letting yourself just kind of luxuriate in the pose and in the stillness or in the softening of the body, or maybe you do need a little bit of brightening in the body. Beautiful. This will be just one more here as we get ready to just transition to the other side. Big full breath as you exhale, letting out all that air. Stay for one extra breath here as you've released down. Letting those hips sink heavy. Pressing into that left palm, come on up. Now grounding that right palm down. Okay, inhaling left fingertips up to the sky. And then again, just floating it through. We often bring awareness into our practices, but often we forget to bring a sense of compassion. And if you think of compassion and awareness being two wings, if you only have one wing, you end up flapping around in a circle. So you really need the two to work together to be able to move you from either a place of stagnation or exhaustion to a better place or state of being. Let's do one more. And then again, as you float it down, bringing that left cheek down to the mat, let's take an extra breath here. Okay, so gently pressing up into that right palm, stacking those palms just beneath the shoulders. Go ahead and bring the knees in now. Keeping the tops of the feet grounded onto the mat, extending those arms out nice and long, we're going to come into our puppy pose. So we're nice and stretched out, just like you see in the dogs, and then allowing the hips to stay high, and then dropping the heart center towards the mat, noticing the forearms are starting to flatten out, and then drop the forehead down. It's okay if it doesn't touch, it's just a suggestion. It's just the body's moving towards the mat. So wherever that is for you. And I'd like you just to play with the palms for a minute. Allow yourself to have a sense of kind of pressing into the palms and sending the hips back here for a moment. Notice how that feels in the upper body, in the hips, just in the body in general. Now I'd like you to switch into a pulling sensation where you lift up just a little bit and there's a sense of, instead of pushing into the base of the palms, that you're pulling from the tips of the fingers. Kind of almost a clawing, kind of pull up. There's a lifting here, and then exhale, sink in the heart center, in the forehead, and in the hips are sinking back. Notice how this may feel a little bit different, the subtlety. Gently start shifting that weight forward. Bending at the knee here, we're just going to gently drop the hips down. Extending those legs out. Go ahead and come up into a nice gentle cobra. Little inhale here. Exhale, release. Let's do 2 more. So inhaling, so rolling those shoulders back and down, creating lots of space. So not pressing into the palms. You could even lift your hands up. So this is just a soft, subtle movement. Last one. Exhale. Now this time pressing into the palms, letting the forearms come in front of the body, coming into our Sphinx pose. So the legs are extended out long, coming into Sphinx. And tuck the chin a little bit, shake the head no. Okay, and then we'll play with seal, walking those hands forward a little bit, pressing into the palms, and then walking the hands back to the place where it feels like you have sensation but not pain. Notice if the shoulders have come up towards the ears. See if you can press into the palms, drop the shoulders down and away from the ears, and creating that opening. Once you do that, you might find that it's a little bit more intense in the low back, and just walk the hands back out a little bit more. Again, shake the head, see what feels good. And conscious breath, still bringing that nice fluid breath into the body. Okay, exhale, slowly float it down. Beautiful. Stack the forearms here, crocodile arms, bending the knees, and sway the feet from side to side just to release that low back. Hopefully you're starting to feel the body calm a little bit, the mind to calm, to settle, to soften. Okay, beautiful. Let's go ahead and leave the right forearm stacked here. Right leg extends. Keep that left knee bent and go ahead and float the left hand back behind, coming into a half bow pose. So here we're pressing the ankle or foot into the palm of the hand and allowing that thigh to lift. Notice if the knee wants to splay way out. See if you can draw it back into midline. Okay, you might notice that the head can lift a little bit here, and you can press into the forearm to lift the heart center up a little bit here off the mat. The gaze can stay down here or a little bit forward, but just not bringing any tension into the back of the neck. And again, find that flow of breath as we hold this posture. And then exhale, slowly release. And then switching to the other side. So left forearm releases forward, right hand releases back, left leg extends, right knee is bent. Go ahead and clasp onto either the top of the foot or the ankle. You can stay low here at first and drawing that knee back in towards midline if you had kind of opened up to grab the ankle or the foot. And then go ahead and press in, noticing the shoulder rolling back and down. Now pressing into that left forearm, opening it up through the heart center. With this one too, you'll notice that you really are aware of any, um, catchiness in your breath. So see if you can create a little bit of fluidness here and really smooth it out. So there isn't a big lift and a big drop as you exhale, but a nice fluid softening and a gentle elevation and lift as you inhale, and as you exhale, you can really just stabilize here. One more breath. Exhale, slowly release. Okay, bending both knees, sway from side to side. Allow those ujjayi breaths to come in or big exhales just as you're processing and releasing. Okay, extending those legs out nice and long, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Press, sending those hips back. Nice child's pose here for a moment, just for a breath. And then on your next inhale, shifting the weight into the palms, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, downward dog. Okay, let's start walking the feet to meet the hands, bringing that forward, grounding into the feet, nice wide arms, bring it up. Go ahead and clasp the hands behind the back. You can either stack them one on top of the other and roll the shoulders back and down, or if you'd like to, you can interlace the fingers and roll the shoulders back and down here. Just taking a moment and that mountain pose through the feet and then opening through that heart center here. Gaze to the sky. Okay, releasing fingertips here, inhaling arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. Okay, palms are, or the fingers are tented here, and go ahead and ground into your right foot, sending the left one back, and then dropping that left knee down. Grounding into that front foot, engaging that core as you exhale. Go ahead and come on up. And then see if you can roll the shoulders down, the shoulder blades kind of melting down the back there, creating space between the shoulders and the ears. And so if you'd like, from this place, if you feel nice and stable, you can come into the crescent lunge and kind of let the gaze go all the way up to the sky or towards the fingertips. And then a nice little back bend. Again, that fluid breath, softening, smoothing it out. Then inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, release the hands on either side of the foot, grounding that left foot, or the left palm on the outside of that right foot. You can either keep that back knee down, or you can lift up here and come into a nice side twist. Okay, go ahead and release that right palm down, knee back down if it was up, and then go ahead and place the right hand on the inside of that right foot, swing that right knee back, and then go ahead and bring left foot forward, bending into that front knee. And again, we're going to come into this crescent lunge. So we're going to keep that right knee back down for now. Hands on either side. Nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, nice and strong through the core, come on up. And then shining the heart center, drawing those shoulder blades down the back, shoulders away from the ears. Find your stable stance here first. Gaze is up towards the sky. And then if it feels comfortable, you can inhale and then exhale, crescent lunge. Notice if the arms want to pop up here, if you can drop them down a little bit to create that space. Smoothing that breath out. Soft, subtle ujjayi. Last inhale. Exhale, release it on down. Okay, coming into that twist here. We're going to keep that right palm planted. That right knee can either stay down or lift. And then coming into the nice twist here. Exhaling, floating that left palm down. Let's go ahead and drop that right knee, left hand to the inside of the left foot, swing it back around. Nice wide knees here for a moment. Toes together, hips back, come on into your child's pose. allowing ourselves to just quiet and listen. And slowly on that next inhale, shifting the weight into the palms, knees back together, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, walking it out. Okay, walking the feet to meet the hands, rounding into the feet, nice wide arms coming up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Ground into that left foot, send the right one back, and then coming into your goddess pose. So wide legged stance here. Toes are facing outward towards the edge of the mat there. Okay, we're going to take a nice big inhale here, and then exhale, dropping down the hips nice and low. Okay, notice if the pelvis is tilted this way, go ahead and tuck the pelvis a little bit, coming to that neutral pelvis. As you're exhaling, really letting the belly button come in towards the spine, supporting ourselves here. Okay. We're going to inhale and then exhale, release the right forearm onto the top of the right thigh. Inhaling, left fingertips up to the sky. Then exhale, release it behind the back. So again, it can just rest on the back here or can reach around towards that right thigh. Gaze can either be to the earth, to the sky, whatever feels good in the neck, or you can vacillate. Okay, go ahead and release the arm, and then letting the hand come onto the left hip, come back to neutral, letting those legs straighten out, toes to the front. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, float it down. Wide-legged forward fold here. And just let the head release. You can even shake it a little bit. Walk the hands over to the right foot. And then slowly walk it on over to the left on the next exhale. Okay, bring it back to center here. Hands on the hips. Little micro bend. Press into the soles of the feet. Come on up. Okay, and then pivot those toes outward again as we get ready to come into goddess. So we'll inhale. Exhale, go ahead and sink it down, and we're going to come into the side bend on the other side. So here we're going to take the left forearm to the top of the left thigh, inhaling right fingertips up. And then again, exhale, releasing the hand to the back or towards that thigh, whatever feels good. Notice if you're lifting here. See if you can squat and really press the equal it out between the amount of pressure in each foot. Use that Ujjayi breath. Okay, slowly release that hand. Bring that right hand to the hip. Left hand to the left hip coming up. Straighten those legs out. Pivot forward. Let's do it one more time. Inhaling, arms up. Hinging forward. Beautiful. Let the head hang heavy. You can either hang here, or if it feels comfortable, you can go ahead and take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back and down, and then drop the hands down towards the earth. Remember, it's not actually happening. It's just that suggestion that the hands are releasing down towards the earth and allowing the gravity just to do its work. Again, notice if there's tension in the neck, shake the head. One more breath. And release those hands. Let them come up to the hips, little micro bend in those knees, press into the soles of the feet, come on up. Press into that right foot, come back to the top of the mat here. Go ahead and inhale. Float the arms on up, exhale, release on down. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Go ahead and release those legs back. Come into your plank and then gently let those knees release down. Walk them back just a little bit as we get ready to slowly release down, coming into your cobra. Exhale. One more time, cobra. Exhale. Press into the palms, hips over heels, child's pose. Just for one breath. Okay, shifting that weight forward into the palms, crossing the feet, and releasing the hips on back. So see if you have your block, you can use it. If you don't have a block, no big deal. Or if you have a pillow, you can throw it in between the knees. Okay, so allowing ourselves to release down onto the mat as we get ready to come into our bridge pose. So hands on either side of the hips here, walking those heels towards the hips. And again, just whatever's between the knees, just to help engage the core here. Okay, and then gently on the next inhale, slowly rolling through the hips, lifting up. Exhale, slowly release down. I'm going to do two more and then hold at that third one. Just taking your time. Remembering we're caring for the back body of the heart center just as much as we are the front body. Okay, on this third one, you can go ahead and take the hands if you'd like and clasp them behind underneath the hips. Draw those shoulder blades under. Kind of sort those feet a little bit again, and then press into the soles of the feet and lift the hips one more time, tucking that chin. Knees pressing into the block or the pillow. Everything's really active here. One final breath. And go ahead and unclasp the hands, unroll those shoulders, let them splay back out, and then slowly let the spine release down. Beautiful, let the knees tuck in. Release the block on over, knees in towards the chest. Let's just take a moment. Hands out to the sides, knees stacked one on top of the other. Big inhale, exhale, drop those knees on over to the left. That left hand can anchor onto the top of the right thigh, gaze to the right hand side. And if it feels good, the eyes can close. Slowly releasing that left hand. Nice big inhale. On the next exhale, slowly draw those knees up towards center. And then drop one over to the right side. Gaze to the left, right hand to anchor, top of left thigh. Nice big inhale here. Extend that right arm. And then on the exhale, draw the knees up towards center. Extending the legs out nice and long here for a moment. You can place the hands on the sides of the hips. We're going to come into our fish pose. Actually, go ahead and bend the knees here for a moment. Let the hands come underneath the hips. And then we're going to press into the elbows. Coming up a little bit and drawing those elbows and the shoulders roll down and back and opening through that heart center. At first, our chin is going to be tucked here. You can either keep the knees bent if that feels better, or if you'd like, you can extend the legs out. And then from here, you just work with what feels good in the neck. Okay, so the chin can stay tucked if you'd like, or if it feels good to let the head or the gaze release back just a little bit and the gaze go to the sky. Or if it feels comfortable, you can release the head back for a moment. Right through that heart center. Then exhale, drawing the chin towards the chest. And slowly release the elbows out nice and wide. And then support yourself as you slowly come down. Lift the hips so the hands can release, and go ahead and tuck those knees in towards the chest one more time. Maybe create little circles with the knees, release that low back. And then opposite side or opposite direction. And then slowly let the knees come to midline here, hands underneath the thighs as we rock and roll. Allow it to come through the body a couple times. And then coming up to seated position, let's take a moment to come into our cobbler pose. Okay, so lifting those hips, letting yourself come on top of those sits bones for a moment. Cobbler pose here, so allowing the in breath to come in and really brighten through the crown of the head. Dropping those shoulders down, and then exhale, hinging at the hips, releasing forward. Again, gaze at the earth here, no tension in the neck. Okay, and one more final surrender here. Opening it up so we have that nice big diamond in our knees. Okay, coming back on top of those sits bones. Inhaling. Go ahead and let the hands be on the ankles or onto the feet here, but allowing that long spine here for a moment. So inhale again, brighten through the crown of the head. Exhale, hinge. Maybe bending those elbows, letting the weight of the torso release down towards the earth, letting gravity do the work. Big inhale, maybe feeling that nice gentle lift, and then exhale, rounding the spine, chin towards the chest, and release here. You can either hold here, or if you have a lot of movement in your spine or your hips, then you can kind of slide the hands underneath the calves there and let the hands rest on top of the feet. You can kind of wiggle the hips back a little bit and kind of nestle yourself in. But again, an act of surrender, so we're not pulling ourselves into this. It's a matter of just letting gravity do the work. Floating with the breath, so that nice buoyancy on the inhale and then gentle sinking on the exhale. Little micro movements. If your hands are slid under, go ahead and bring them to the tops of the feet. Bringing a little bit more intention into the breath, so nice inhale. Floating up in that back body, almost like a little balloon, and then exhale, press into the palms and coming on up. Beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and take a moment and find your oil. So we'll just step into the little foot massage portion of it, which is so nice. So you can just find a little tea towel here and sitting however you're comfortable and just placing one foot in front of the other, just kind of creating some space here. And go ahead and find your oil, and we're just going to allow ourselves to massage our feet, which is wonderful. Okay, so just a little bit of oil. Maybe taking a minute just to enjoy, even with your hands, it feels really, really nice. And just like we noticed, or may have noticed as we did the tapping on the chest, that there might have been some tenderness and just little tiny spots throughout the chest. So this is a nice time as well to just notice if there's any tenderness in the feet. So just allowing just a nice gentle massage here, and then allowing yourself to kind of explore the foot, see where it might need a little bit of extra attention. No, I had asked Brooke to post. There was a little bit of an article, I think, on the reduction of touch and that lack of intimacy as we've been moving through the pandemic. We've lost our hugs, and we've lost those subtle actions of a hand on a shoulder, or the hand on a hand, in those times and those intimate moments when we're with each other. And we're really needing to redefine that sense of intimacy, both with each other but also with ourselves, and noticing that even though we may not be able to um, have that contact or that connection in the way that we're used to, there's so many ways that we can still connect with others and create that sense of care and nurturance. And this is a great way too. I noticed that there's a lot of kind of numbing out at the end of the day. I know my brain is fried after, um, a lot of us are home with kids, and that can tend to be a little mind frying. And the last thing that you want is touch, because you're surrounded all the time. But you forget that sometimes it can feel really nice to have this um, intentional awareness to your own body and your own being, and bringing able to bring that sense of care in. And then also so important for those that don't have anybody at home and are really lacking that touch right now, and allowing yourself to be a source of connection, and notice how you're feeling. Okay, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So just noticing here again, maybe one side's different than the other, like we notice in our hips and in our shoulders. And it's always fun if anybody is into, I don't know it intimately enough to be able to name off the organs and things that we're touching, but I know that it generally maps out the body. So the big toe is like the head. And then that outer edge of the foot, the more rigid aspect of the outer aspect of the foot, is mimics the spine. And so the heel and the base of the foot is more like the low back. And that soft tenderness spot in the middle of the foot, that's like your organs. So if you notice that you are having GI distress or issues like that, you can massage in the middle of the foot. There's an area in the spine. You can kind of follow the edge of the outside or the low back, really focus on that heel. Get headaches, you can really massage that big toe. I forget what all the little toes stand for. I think there's lungs and stuff in there somewhere. But that's what's great. If you just do the whole thing, you've got everything covered. This is a great alternative too. If you guys have heard me talk about Abhyanga, that, the self massage practice that is a whole body massage, which is obviously fantastic. But a lot of times we don't have a lot of time, or especially if we're on boats, it's not really practical all the time. So this is a really nice alternative to do this right before bed, or maybe even while you're watching TV, and just allowing it to be something that relaxes you before it's time for bed. All right. So let's take a moment to finish up here. Any last little spots that you want to get into? But I do want to allow us to have a little bit of Shavasana. So go ahead and get in any extra oil. If you want to throw some socks on, grab a sweater, anything that you need for your Shavasana, go ahead and grab that now. And I have my yummy oil from Isabel that always smells so good. I hope you guys are liking yours too. So if you want to throw that down, if you don't have socks, you can throw your little towel there, and then go ahead and release back. I'm going to stay up so I can just talk you through your Shavasana. But go ahead and release onto your backs. Find a little blanket or a pillow or eye pillow, anything that you need for your Shavasana here. I'm just going to be here for a few minutes. So taking a nice deep breath in. Oh, exhale out. Just allowing a gentle scan of the body. So starting at the crown of the head, allowing a heaviness and a softness to come in, move through the brow, just releasing any worry, any fear, any concern. Just letting the furrow soft and the brow soften and release and let go. Space between the teeth and the jaw is soft. The air gently moves in through the nose, down through the throat. A beautiful expansion through the lungs, a soft belly. Noticing this gentle flow or wave of breath as it moves through the body, just noticing where it lands. Maybe taking a moment to let one hand land at heart center. And maybe one hand on the belly. Connecting with that flow of breath. You may be even able to feel the subtle heartbeat within the being and your being within your body. And as you exhale, letting the body just soften a little bit more. Hips heavy. And then as you move down the legs, just noticing the feet. Notice if they feel a little bit different now that we've given them a little bit of love. I know that mine tend to feel a little bit warm and tingly right now. Oil always seems to make the world a little bit easier. Nice inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and let the hands release to the sides of the body. From a place of gratitude and nurturance, just bring one more breath into the body as you brighten a little bit through that heart center. Maybe a little bit of movement into those fingers and toes. And then slowly, when you're ready, allowing yourself to roll over onto your side. Cradling the head and the arm, drawing the knees up towards the chest. Savoring that sense of stillness and that deep compassion that you've shown yourself tonight. So slowly, when you're ready, just allowing yourself to press up to a seated position. Your eyes can stay closed if it feels comfortable. Let's go ahead and bring both hands to heart center, stacking one on top of the other. Let's take a nice shared breath to seal our practice. Big inhale in through the nose. Exhale out. May all beings be happy and free. May you be happy, healthy, free from suffering, and may you know peace. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Let's press here.